走一步就不会被闪到。
Thank you now to our frontier landing, big thunder present, all the way on the square. This grand student of March Twain accepting passengers and cargo. Authentic scene card journey up to America. Now, before we head on board, just a reminder, when boarding Mark Twain, make sure you take your time, look down and watch steps. If you have small children, take your friend by the hand when you on board. Also, folks, we ask that you refrain from smoking, gambling, and indulging in hard liquor. Now, this will be the first one off of the grand student of Mark Twain. Board.
Welcome aboard the Mark Twain Riverboat. Just a few reminders to keep safe. Please do not sit or climb on the outside railing, and be sure to watch your children. You don't want to be fishing haters on out. Also, there should be no fires or smoking on board. Thank you. And now, here's a few words from the first mate. Bienvenidos a bordo. Para su seguridad, no se sienten asegúrense de vigilar a sus hijos y absténganse de fumar. Gracias.
ماما عندها وقت هلا في دلايل حتعزل كثير
عشان الفستان عشان العزة كلها تحت لفوق والله
There's more of them! Look how many they are! That's a lot of birds! That's a lot of birds! There's a lot more birds over here! Look how many birds there are! Oh. We're not even moving. Are we supposed to move? Let's guess. Why do you have microphones on? Why do you have microphones on?
Thank you.
Dogs! 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, I see right now.
Engine room. I had 3 quarters. Lesman, sound off.
That's the lesbian calling out the death mark so we can avoid running the breath. Mark Twain is not just the name of a river or a great American author. It also means the water here is 2 fathoms deep. That means it's safe enough for us to proceed on our steam-powered journey along the rivers of America. On our trip, we'll visit the magnificent Columbia of the Great Northwest, the graceful Missouri of the windswept plains, and the rugged Rio Grande along the border of Texas and Mexico. I'll be sure to point out interesting sights along the way, and even tell you about a legend or two. We begin our trip right here on the mighty Mississippi, heading south and ending up down in New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
Bubble.
New Orleans is rich in history, music, good food, and ghost stories. One of those stories involves the old mansion you see over there on the hill. We're now passing Fowler's Harbor. This is homeport for the 3-masted windjammer in the Columbia, the first American ship to circumnavigate the globe. Here's a bit of history. Columbia set sail from Boston Harbor in 1787. She rounded Cape Horn and became the first American ship to carry the Stars and Stripes around the world. Beyond those levee walls on the port side is the Bayou, future home of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Princess Tiana swears there's magic out there. And wherever you find magic, you're bound to find surprises. Blue skies and sunshine guaranteed. It's not quite finished yet, but we're almost there.
One of the doctors just. Oh, look!
Barrels are up the pathways.
While you're in critter country, you might want to grab a paddle and try your hand at the Explorer canoes. You can work up a real good sweat rowing one of those around the river. Me, I'll take the comfort of the Mark Twain Riverboat any day.
Oh, we went past another line? Another line?
As we head into the remote areas of the rivers of America, you're in for a real treat. I've been navigating these parts for years now, but I never get tired of taking in the breathtaking beauty of the Columbia River. The majestic trees,
Isn't that so cool?
the stunning rock formations, the cascading waterfalls, the moose, deer, and elk along the banks. It's all so magnificent and so peaceful. giving us a sign of peace. That means we're all clear as we head up the Missouri River to the home of the Plains Indians. Sharing a story of all of us. He's telling the tale of how a woodpecker taught a young tribesman to take a hollowed out branch and turn it into that most wondrous of musical instruments, the flute. It's a legend the Lakota have passed down from generation to generation. Just beyond the shaman is a tribe of Plains Indians setting up their camp along the banks of the river. They'll be here for a few months and then move on. As we continue our journey, keep a close eye on the riverbanks. There's a good chance we might catch a glimpse of moose, mountain lions, and other wildlife. Off the starboard side is Pirate's Bay at Tom Sawyer Island. Young Tom always said he wanted to be a pirate, and I think I see why. If you're a pirate, you don't need to get up early in the morning to go to school, and you never have to wash your face and hands. All you have to do is just look for treasure all day long. At least that's what Tom Sawyer thought. Civilization along the Rio Grande. Off in the distance are the towering peaks of Big Thunder Mountain. Rumor has it that the railroad built to haul gold out of the mountain has been seized by supernatural forces, and they've turned mining trains into the wildest ride in the wilderness. Of course, that may be just another legend of the world. Just ahead is the frontier land, where our journey is. On behalf of our entire crew, I'd like to thank you for booking passage on the Mark Twain Riverboat. At this time, we ask that you prepare to disembark. If you're on one of the upper decks, please make your way down to the first deck. The stairways to the right side and the back of the boat may offer the quickest and easiest route. We hope you enjoyed your voyage with us and that you'll visit us again real soon.
Stand
Ahí viene. Yeah, but you need.
Inside the cab. And you trust me, it's gonna be one wild ride.
dip, boys. Well done.
Danger, danger, warning, warning, danger, danger,
Hey, let come of me, will ya? Here's a little something to forget me by. Portable hole! Oh, hey, Jack!
Please remain seated. Your cab will begin moving in just a moment. Please remain seated. Your cab will begin moving in just a moment.
Thanks for joining us today.
Okay, I'll see you guys. I'm gonna take the black stroller.
Bridget stroller.
Yeah.
Okay.
terms. I, your circus ringmaster, now present for you the one, the only, Casey Jr. In a moment, he is going to take the wild animals, that's you, on a trip around Storybook Land. For a safe trip, please stay seated in your cages or carts while we're rolling, and keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. Oh, and remember to watch your children too. All aboard! Bienvenidos. Para su seguridad, permanezca sentados y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren. Y cuide a los niños. Gracias. Now, Casey, let's get this show on the road, or track. All aboard! All aboard!
Oh, they put those 2 trains together.
Maybe a different month.
All aboard! Let's go! Casey Jr.'s coming down the track with a smoky slack. Bill and Martha coming round the hill. Casey's here to thrill every jack and Jill. Every time his funny little whistle sounds, everybody hurries through the circus grounds. Time for lemonade and cracker jack. Casey Jr.'s back. Casey Jr.'s back. Every time his funny little whistle sounds, everybody hurries to the circus grounds. Time for lemonade and cracker jack. Casey Jr.'s back. Casey Jr.'s back.
say to the animals, that's the end of the lion. Fantasyland, Fantasyland Station.
Come on, babe. Come on, dude.
We're not going to do it.
But the last one, I thought was going to get scary. It was pretty good.
So this.
And you think this one's
we saw ourselves gradually lifted from the depths of slavery to the heights of liberty and manhood. Though we waited long, we saw all this and more.
Abraham Lincoln is known as the Great Emancipator, but the moniker wasn't earned overnight. It would take the tireless work of the abolitionist movement led by Frederick Douglass, who himself was born enslaved, to guide Lincoln towards the cause of freedom.
I am alike familiar with the whip and chain of slavery, and the lash and sting of public neglect and scorn, that my back is marked with the one and my soul is fettered with the other.
After years of opposition, these two giants would find common ground and change the course of history. 10 years before the Emancipation Proclamation was enacted,
If all earthly power were given me, I should not know what to do as to the existing institution.
Oh, had I the ability, and could I reach the nation's ear, I would today pour out a fiery stream of biting ridicule, blasting reproach, withering sarcasm, and stern rebuke. For it is not light that is needed, but fire. It is not the gentle shower, but thunder.
Frederick Douglass never had a pair of pants or shoes until he was about 6 or 7 years old. He would sleep head first in an old corn sack with his feet hanging out on cold winter nights to try and keep himself warm.
teaching the enslaved to read was illegal, so young Frederick secretly traded what little food he had in exchange for reading lessons.
It just shows how much he understood how education was going to be his key to freedom.
And a key to freedom it was. At the age of 20, Douglass made a daring escape and went north, settling in Massachusetts. There he soared. From orator,
The one cannot be truly free, while the other is a slave.
to newspaper editor,
Truth is of no color.
and best-selling author.
From that moment, I understood the pathway from slavery to freedom.
He was the central voice of the abolitionist movement.
He had this natural gift for communication. He was eloquent. He was charismatic.
There wasn't a venue, a building large enough to hold people who wanted to hear him.
Would you have me argue that man is entitled to liberty? That he is the rightful owner of his own body? Must I argue the wrongfulness of slavery? At a time like this, scorching irony, not convincing argument, is needed.
Much of Douglass's irony was directed towards Washington, D.C. and Abraham Lincoln, the anti-slavery president who took office just as the Civil War began in 1861.
Anti-slavery is very different than being an abolitionist. It was very gradual that most anti-slavery candidates believed in the abolition of slavery.
I do not suppose that ultimate extinction would occur in less than 100 years at the least.
That would have put the end to slavery in 1958. And for Frederick Douglass, that's outrageous.
Mr. Lincoln is quite a genuine representative of American prejudice, and far more concerned for the preservation of slavery.
Douglass was relentless in his fight for freedom, and with the steady drumbeat of the abolitionist movement in his ear, Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, freeing enslaved people in the southern states, and for the first time, making it legal for all black men to fight in the Civil War. These new soldiers injected the Union Army with much needed manpower, but still, they faced discrimination and disparity.
Douglass is so outraged that he makes a trip to DC and decides he wants to meet with Lincoln himself.
To his surprise, Lincoln agreed to see him immediately.
He was ushered up past all of the people that were waiting to see Lincoln that day. And just imagine this visual of this black man just bounding up the steps, and people are looking at him like, who is that?
Lincoln begins the conversation and he says, "Hello, Mr. Douglass," essentially. "It's good finally to meet you. I've read your writings a lot. I know you've been very critical of me."
Their one-on-one left a lasting impression on both men, and Lincoln vowed to improve the conditions for black soldiers.
My whole interview with the president was gratifying and did much to assure me that slavery would not survive the war, and that the country would survive both slavery and war.
A year later, it is Lincoln who needs Douglass's help.
He feels he's going to lose re-election, essentially says, "I need you. I think the war is going badly."
Lincoln entrusted Douglass with creating a plan for aiding the escape of enslaved people from rebel territory so that they could join the Union cause.
Douglass writes a detailed letter to Lincoln, spelling out his vision of these special forces.
He did not let me feel for a moment that there was any difference in the color of our skins. The president is a most remarkable man.
With Douglass's support, Lincoln would go on to turn the tide of the war and win re-election. The following year, Douglass returned to Washington once more to attend the inauguration.
Now in this multitude of elite of the land, I felt myself a man among men.
It's the first time a president devotes most of the speech to African Americans.
1/8 of the whole population were colored slaves.
Frederick Douglass heard his words and his language in Lincoln's address.
Until every drop of blood drawn with the lash shall be paid by another drawn with the sword.
The work that he had done over so many years, he was now hearing this at a very important moment in time in the nation's history.
Douglass is invited to the White House for a reception, sees Douglass enter, and yells out,
"Here comes my friend, Frederick Douglass. There is no man in the country whose opinion I value more than yours."
Mr. Lincoln, that was a sacred effort.
Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom.
Frederick Douglass spoke truth to power, and he never stopped fighting for his people, and he understood that the struggle continued. He said, without struggle,
there is no progress. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will.
And now, here is Walt Disney to talk a little more about the nation's 16th president, Abraham Lincoln.
Ever since I was a youngster, I've had a great personal admiration for Abraham Lincoln. So when we decided to bring to Disneyland's visitors some great moments in Mr. Lincoln's life, we began an exhaustive research. We wanted to bring to the people of today the inspiring words of the man who held this nation together during its moment of greatest crisis, the Civil War. To start with, we were fortunate in being able to secure this life mask of the 16th president. How do we get this, Blaine?
This is actually a copy of an original life mask by the sculptor Leonard Volk.
Before Lincoln was president?
Before Lincoln was president.
Before he had a beard?
That's right.
During our exhaustive research into Lincoln's life, we studied his mannerisms, his gestures, and even his voice characteristics to create a faithful likeness of this honored man. The final result is so lifelike that you might find it hard to believe. Now let's go into the Opera House and listen carefully to the words of Mr. Lincoln, spoken by him a century ago, but which still apply today to free men everywhere.
If you would now please pass through the doors leading to our theater, we welcome you to Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln.
All right, folks, it's showtime. I'd like to invite you over to the back lobby. I'll be opening the doors to the theater momentarily. But safety first, folks. There's a red line right inside this carpet. Make sure you stand on the far side of this red line. This red line, because these automatic doors will be opening out towards you. Again, as a friendly reminder, open food and beverages are not permitted inside the theater. So if you do have, please either finish it, discard it, or place it right inside your backpack. We also like to reserve the center portion of our theaters for our guests in wheelchairs, ECVs, and members of the party. You can access these seats by going through the center doors right below the brass eagle. Now, as you enter the theater, please watch your step. We do have step ramps on uneven floors inside. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does the reason you say stand behind the red line is somebody being banged by the doors?
No, because when the doors open, you're going to be hit by the doors.
No, but does everybody walked into the door and the doors just slammed them in the face?
Yeah, it would. That's why you have to be very careful. So stay behind the red light. Don't enter until the doors are fully open, please. And a warm welcome to the Disneyland Opera House, folks. Not to preserve the dignity of this presentation, we ask a few things from you. That there be no eating, no drinking, and no smoking while inside this theater. Also, folks, for courtesy for all the wonderful guests around you, please no flash photographies, no video lighting inside, no cell phones for me, please. Now, during the presentation, if you need to leave early for any reasons, no worries, folks. Please use the exit doors on the far right side of the theater. Even the exact same doors should be used at the conclusion of our presentation. Now, our original presentation first debuted in 1964 New York's World Fair. At that time, Walt Disney introduced 4 new attractions. It's a Small World, the Carousel of Progress, which is still played over inside Disney World, the Magic Skyway, and of course, Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, which came to Disneyland only 1 year later in 1965. Now, this being one of Disney's treasures, not only because Mr. Lincoln happened to be the very first human audio animatronics. The original presentation was directed by Walt Disney himself. So folks, to the magic of Disney, I want everyone to sit back and let's all enjoy the great moments with Mr. Lincoln.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln.
Oh, beautiful space.
was the American dream, the prayer for the future. But that golden goal was not to be had without cost. The American way was not gained in a day. It was born in adversity, forged out of conflict, perfected and proven only after long experience and trial. In all of history, no man was dedicated to this dream more than the 16th President of these United States, Abraham Lincoln. Here in his own words is what he once wrote about himself. For at that time, very few people outside Illinois knew very much about this man from the prairie.
I was born February 12th, 1809, in Hardin County, Kentucky. My father removed from Kentucky to what is now Spencer County, Indiana, in my 8th year. It was a wild region, with many bears and other wild animals still in the woods. There I grew up. I was large for my age, and had an axe put into my hands at once. And from that to my 23rd year, was almost constantly handling that most useful instrument. I think that the aggregate of all my schooling did not amount to 1 year. At 21, I came to Illinois. Thought of trying to study law. Rather thought I could not succeed at that without better education. I borrowed some law books, took them home, and went at it in good earnest. In 1854, the law profession had almost superseded the thought of politics in my mind, when the repeal of the Missouri Compromise aroused me as I had never been before. What I have done since then is pretty well known. If any personal description of me is thought desirable, it may be said I am in height, 6 feet 4 inches, nearly, lean in flesh, weighing on an average of 180 pounds, dark complexion, with coarse black hair and gray eyes, and no other marks or brands recollected. Yours very truly, A. Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln became president faced with the terrible threat of civil war, a thing he dreaded, yet a calamity he was prepared to meet if he must.
Without union, the Constitution is only a piece of paper. I know there is a God, and that he hates injustice and slavery. I see the storm coming. I know his hand is in it. If he has a place and work for me, and I think he has, I believe I'm ready. And with God's help, I shall not fail.
April 12, 1861, Fort Sumter. The cannon spoke for war. Civil war, violent, devastating. Now had come the reckoning, the supreme test that would decide whether a republic founded on liberty could survive the terrible strife of men's passions.
Two brothers on their way, two brothers on their way, two brothers on their way. One wore blue and one wore gray. One wore blue and one wore gray as they marched along their way. The fife and drum began to play, all on a beautiful morning. One was gentle, one was kind. One was gentle, one was kind. One came home, one stayed behind. A cannonball don't pay no mind. A cannonball don't pay no mind. If you're gentle or if you're kind. It don't think of the folks behind. All on a beautiful morning. All on a beautiful
Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation, or any nation so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure.
10 brief sentences. So simple, so direct. Abraham Lincoln had not expected his words to live beyond their temporary moment. But time and history would dictate otherwise. And so today, his Gettysburg Address is immortal, a rich and treasured part of our country's heritage. We pay tribute here not to a man who lived a century ago, but to an individual who lives today in the hearts of all freedom-loving people. His prophetic words are as valid for our time as they were for his. And now, the skills of the sculptor and the talents of the artist will let us relive great moments with Mr. Lincoln.
The world has never had a good definition of the word liberty. And the American people just now are much in want of one. We all declare for liberty, but in using the same word, we do not all mean the same thing. What constitutes the bulwark of our liberty and independence? It is not our frowning battlements, our bristling sea coasts. These are not our reliance against tyranny. Our reliance is in the love of liberty, which God has planted in our bosoms. Our defense is in the preservation of the spirit which prizes liberty as the heritage of all men, in all lands.
tomando fotos ahí. Mira que Freddy. Marisa. Thank you.
Next flight is what tomorrow?
¿Quieres que te la tome?
No worries. If you want me to take it, I can take it out. ¿Qué no lo tomo?
All right. Everyone go ahead and look right over here. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, good.
Arya, this is